Not from a policeman? Good morning everybody, Calm Biker here. And what a lovely, wet, miserable, horrible morning it is. I've only had 2 chances to get out on the bike this week. Thursday and Saturday. Saturday's today. And it peed it down all Thursday. And Saturday, well, there you go. You can see for yourselves. Now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday, beautiful sunshine, 20 degrees plus on the old Celsiuses. Not impressed. Blooming been a rain god. There's no benefits, you know, it's all downside. It's not like I can cast magic spells or anything like that. Anyway, I'm off to the IAM. We've got a hall booked, or it's actually a bowling club, I think, where they meet up generally for, you know, the monthly meetups and what have you. But we've got it booked today for my very first, not just for me, to be fair, for quite a few other people as well, but for me, it's my very first observer training day. So I've done a bit of a kind of a taster, following people around and seeing what's going on, but today is the first proper bit of training. So we're starting at 9:30, I think, probably with teas and coffees and what have you. And then at 10 o'clock we're going to be doing some, or going to be watching some lectures. Taking part in whatever it might be that you do with lectures. Not sure what's going to be involved in those, but some lectures about IAM-y stuffs. Obviously about observing, I'm guessing things like road position and all that kind of stuff, you know. And this afternoon we're going for a ride. Do our first bit of practice of the things we've learned this morning. So it's all very exciting. And I mean, it's exciting in several ways. One, because it's another thing to do, another goal to aim for. I like having goals. Another way of hopefully improving my riding, being safer, and hopefully helping other people to be safer too. It's also exciting because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. It's strange. When I first started riding, I'd be like this, you know, middle of the lane, just stick in the middle of the lane, like you're taught by, well, for me it was the DSA, I think it's now the DVSA, something like that. But you stick to the middle of your lane most of the time. There was a bit of variation, you know, but not a huge amount. And then through the IAM, it's all about correct positioning for the best visibility and safety and all that kind of stuff. And now for the observer, it's all turned on its head again. Because, for example, whereas for a straight bit of road I should be out here on the IAM thing until a car's coming the other way like this, in which case I'll come in a bit, give myself a bit of safety space. But I'll be kind of over the right, and now I'm going into a left-hand bend, so I'll go to the left for a bit of visibility. When you're doing the observing, that all changes. Because now the person that you're observing is supposed to be following those positions, so he should be here. So if I'm over at this side as well, I'm just going to fill his mirrors up. So what happens is, observer would be over here for this right-hander. I'll be over here, keeping out of his way, actually cutting off my own visibility, so potentially increasing the risk for me. Now there's a lot of things you do, you don't just, again, like the IAM standard kind of advanced riding stuff, you don't just slavishly stick to a system. It's not about being robotic, it's about thinking about, you know, where the risks are, what's the best way to get through a bend or a series of bends, all that kind of stuff. And you could take the same bend, you could take differently 5 times, depending on what's coming the other way and what the road surface is like, and all these, you know, so many different factors. But I suppose I've been trained into that method of thinking now, and I'm about to be trained out of it, trained to be following somebody, potentially very closely indeed, in a position that will feel now completely unnatural. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So apparently some people just don't like it, can't get on with it at all, and give it up very quickly because they just don't feel safe anymore. Which is strange, because when you've just passed your test, you feel safe wherever you are because you think you're king of the road. Anyway, I'll let you know how I get on and what I think about it afterwards, and whether this will be my first and last observer training session. We shall see. Wish me luck. Oh, we've just had a very interesting morning session. About 2.5 hours. Bit of a talk from the lead observer about the new things that are coming out from the IAM for this year, so clarifications on things to do with straight lining, bends, straight lining roundabouts, both of which are encouraged, and extending bends, where really only applies to left-handers, where you actually use the right-hand side of the road to give yourself a better view through left-handers, which is being discouraged for all but single-track roads. Good bit of stoppage there, well done. It's been quite interesting, and we had a few lectures about psychology of observing and how you communicate with people. Some stuff on overtaking, which was quite interesting. Overtaking becomes a different problem when you're an observer, because you've got to think about the safety of yourself as well as the safety of the associate, the trainee. So it's been a good start. Next job, after I've just nipped out and got myself something to eat, because they're serving meaty chili with rice, which is not good if you're vegetarian or diabetic. So the next job, we're going back, there's going to be some demonstration stuff in the car park before we go out for a ride. Hopefully that'll be as enjoyable as the morning has been. Well, I've just finished the afternoon session of the observer training. Another good session. So we did a bit of stuff in the car park about how to show people where the blind spots were, how to do your powdery checks and explain those, static and dynamic brake checks, all that kind of stuff. And then we went for a ride where we had a national observer acting like an associate member. So the national observers, they're the top guys in the club, pretending to be new to the IAM, pretending that they've just passed the test and they've come to do some advanced training, and putting in some errors on purpose, and we had to identify the errors. I got 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 bad. Would have preferred even to have got 3 out of 3, but you know, you can't have everything. So I noticed that he was indicating a bit too much, so not cancelling his indicators as quickly as he should, and also noticed that he wasn't using the road positioning system very much, so spending a lot of time in the centre of the lane rather than using the road and getting better positions, getting better visibility and all that kind of stuff. And that meant that also when there were hazards, he wasn't reacting to them, so he'd just stay in that one position all the time. So I got that one. One I missed was being overcautious at junctions. So coming up to crossroads and that kind of thing, and instead of having one look down each way, having 2 or 3 each way. Apparently these are things that new riders and people who are just coming back to riding are doing quite commonly. So, I mean, to be fair, I sometimes leave my indicators on myself, as anyone who rides with me will probably know. So that's the first session out of the way. Now there's going to be more sessions throughout the year, but not dedicated in the same way, so ride outs and that kind of thing rather than classroom sessions. So I'm looking forward to that. It looks like it might be difficult for us all to get through it. We've got 11 trainees and only 2 associates at the minute. trainee observers that is. So there's not enough for one each by a long shot. So we're all going to be doing some training with people pretending to be associates at first, and it may well be that not everybody gets through this year, gets passed out by the end of the year. So, but, you know, fingers crossed. But as I was saying to everyone, if it takes a year or 5 years, doesn't really matter. The main part is to make sure everybody's enjoying it and everybody's getting better at riding. So there's a couple of bits I want to improve on myself for my own riding as well. So if nothing else, hopefully I'll get them improvements just by doing the observer training. So lots to look forward to. Still excited. Anyway, that's my day done. Heading home now for a nice cup of coffee. So thank you for watching everyone. Ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon.